Hey everyone, this is Telltale Guys. This is Telltale Guys. This is Telltale Guys. Hey everyone, this is Tail Guys. Telltale Guys show.
Telltale.
Telltale. Hey everyone, this is Telltale Guys.
Telltale?
Telltale Guys. Hey everyone, this is Telltale Guys. Hey everyone, this is Telltale Guys.
Although it sounds like you're saying telltale.
I know. Telltale. Hey everyone, this is Telltale Guys. On this episode, we explore stories that go into astronauts seeing some very weird things in space.
What's your ETA? We'll be there in 2 minutes. Come on, we have lives to save here.
All right, exciting. First episode, inaugural. That's going to be fun. This is Telltale Guys. I'm Josh, and with me I got...
Hey, I'm Zane. How's it going, everyone?
Wow, first one, Zane. First one.
Yep.
It's going to be quite a bumpy ride for everybody involved, I'm sure.
Definitely for the first episode.
Yeah. Although it's not our first episode, we have done this before. If our voices sound familiar, we have. That's our baby. No, not our.
Not
baby.
our baby,
It's
my baby.
It's our mascot, right? We
Yeah,
can
Cecilia.
Telltale baby. Yeah, Cecilia, Telltale baby.
She is in the other room, but she is quite loud because she's almost a 2-year-old. So,
All right.
sprinkled throughout these mysterious episodes, you might hear the banter of a little child. So,
Yeah, and if we have any creepy child stories coming up, that'd be fun too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyways, what's Telltale about, you guys? Zane, what are we about?
So yeah, we want to explore just various topics and stories and tales, just about real life, but that are quite strange and weird. And obviously there are some stories that and some that you don't know, and we want to explore all of that in between. So that's where we're here. And like Josh said, we've done this kind of before, but we've come back and we're excited for it, and we want to explore all the mysteries in this life. So here we go.
Yeah, well, previously, we did Incredible Stories podcasts,
Mhm.
but we took a little hiatus from that and come back with this show. I feel like the genie from Aladdin after 10,000 years, but this episode we're going to be talking about Zane, you're bringing the thunder this episode. What are we going to get into?
Yeah. So when we started the show, I wanted to think about what's going to be happening this month of May. That was kind of my train of thought, and I looked at all sorts of historic events that happened in May. Not much there, but there's one thing that popped out at me on May 5th, and it's not about Cinco de Mayo, but on May 5th,
Space
1969.
chips.
Yeah, space chips. 1969. So basically, Alan Shepard from the Mercury program, he was the first American to go into space, and he's the second person overall, as the Russians beat us to that. And so, nothing extraordinary there besides that historic event, but it made me think, for our themes, what are some weird things that astronauts have seen in space? Um, and that's what I kind of wanted to explore. Do you have anything like you want to talk about? Like, does that
Yeah,
interest you at
but
all?
so space is a very broad topic, obviously, lots of
Yeah.
crazy things involved with that. So before we get into the main course that you're going to be serving up, I have some appetizers for the audience here.
We
And
got
when
space
I
chips.
think I
Space
do,
chips and
well,
queso.
yes, space chips. We'll be selling those on our site. Space chip. But I do have when I think about space, one of the things that comes first to mind is smell. And most people don't think about smell when it comes to space, but I'll tell you why smells come to me first. Let me share this screen with you, Zane. Let's see. We're using a new program here, so bear with us. We're kind of amateurs at the moment, but we'll get professional real quick. So here we go. Zane, you see this?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at.
This is Billy Rocket cologne. And this was my first cologne when I was a wee lad. And it's a space cowboy themed cologne that Avon sold back in the day, marketed to children. And this was this is what I used to dab on when I would go to, I don't know, church or something.
Dang, did you pull the ladies with your space cowboy
Um,
cologne?
no, none of them at all. It was surprising, I know. Let me show you the whole pack here too. That was just the just part of the whole thing that you would get. So give me a sec. Let me give you the other part here. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. So
Wow.
with the cologne, you would also get soap, and I think this was just a box it all came in. So I smelled quite spacey, I think, when I would put this on.
What does it smell? What is it similar to? Like, can
I
you
don't garbage water. It
garbage
was- it was-
radiation? Like, I mean, what?
yeah, I don't know what theme they were going for, what they thought space smelled like, but we actually do know what space smells like, oddly enough. And let me go over this with you real quick here. And I thought, cologne definitely isn't something that one thinks about when it's space. But I think this will give you a better idea of what space actually smells like. So, this thing is from space.com, so pretty legit. And let me make this full screen so people can read it. Well, that helped a lot. All right, so space, they say, kind of has like a weird like tinny smell to it, almost like burnt steak, or like when you're doing like welding. I don't know how much welding you do, Zane.
None.
But none. Okay, so you probably aren't familiar with the smell of like ozone, maybe stuff like that. So you can't actually smell in space. So how do they
Or you
know
would
this?
die.
Yeah, you would. It's a vacuum. Well, near vacuum. But yeah, if you took your helmet off and took a big deep breath, you would die. But what they do is the astronauts, when they're done doing their spacewalks and they come into the airlock, and they
Yep.
remove their helmets, or they smell this odor around them, and it smells like the burnt toast smell, kind of ozony-ness to it. And that's because of all like the oxygen atoms that are kind of like floating around freely in space. And they cling on to the astronaut suit. And when it comes into the airlock chamber, then they can smell it. It just interacts with everything there. So I always thought that was kind of neat. The smell of space does have a smell, but it does vary depending on wherever you are in the universe, because different planets and different atmospheres have different scents and stuff like that.
It's like
So I'm
different
not,
charged particles just floating around, something like that.
yeah, something like that. So like, I guess like with I'm not sure what Uranus smells like, but I'm sure it doesn't smell good.
There it is. It
Oh,
was teed off.
it was,
It
you
was
knew where I was
blasted
going
off.
with that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I had for my appetizer there. Although I do have something, I think is a little bit of insider maybe. So back in the day, I was in the Marines. So back in the day when I was first a young devil pup, as they call us, um, out of boot camp. This is back in like 99, 2000. I don't think I've ever told you this thing, but once you get out of boot camp, you can do this thing called recruiter's assistance, right? So basically, you help recruiters get more people to sign up and come into the Marines, right? So at this time, me and my buddy, we're doing our rounds, trying to find people. Really, we're just putting on our uniform and walking around the mall, looking fly, trying to holler at girls. You know how you do. So we're looking dapper, right? But anyway, so we get to know the people, and this is a mall, for people that don't know, is like a big closed-in building of stores. I don't think they have them much anymore. But back in the day, we would go to the malls, and we'd walk around and get to know some of the shop people, whatever. So one of the places we would hang out at is Spencer's Gifts. Saying, you remember Spencer's?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
Yeah.
a fun place, and that was kind of mysterious in its own right.
Yeah, they had a bunch of space stuff there
Hmm.
too. But anyways, one of the guys that was working there, he was previously a Marine. He did 4 years and got out. I I don't know. Running a Spencer's is kind of a weird transition from Marines, but anyway, so we got to know this guy. And when he was in, he used to be in an intelligence side of the Marines. So they gather information from satellites and stuff like that. And he told me something that I always thought was kind of strange, and it always stuck with me. And I could never verify it because obviously, I think it's maybe kind of a secret type of thing. So he told me that the SR-71. You familiar with the SR-71?
No, no, please elaborate.
Oh, let me pull up a thing real quick. Hold on. I forgot that I needed to get a picture of an SR-71 for this.
You were
SR-71.
you were concentrating too much on the space deodorant. So
I was, because that stuff, man, it was so good.
were you wearing that when you were in the mall, all decked out, and you're trying to impress the
No,
ladies?
no. I probably should have though, because that might have got me more play with that. No, sadly, I don't think they make Billy Rocket anymore,
Hmm.
surprisingly. Um, but let's go ahead and let me show you this here. All right, you see these planes here?
Yeah.
SR-71. So this is
And I guess describe them a little bit for our
yeah.
our audio listeners.
Yeah, I should have done that because I forgot we're not just on YouTube. We're gonna be on
Mhm.
other places too.
That's okay.
So yeah, the SR-71 Blackbird is an iconic US spy plane. You probably know it if you saw it. It's kind of like this sleek, long um, plane with two triangular. It's like a triangular wing shape with two big engine pods on the side. It kind of looks like, if you remember the X-Men cartoon, they flew around in
Mhm.
the Blackbird. It kind of looks like that.
Mhm.
But this is like the fastest jet aircraft we had, right? It can go like Mach, I don't forgot, 3, 4, something like that. We used it for high altitude surveillance because it was so fast it couldn't be tracked, and it could take pictures, using the swanky cameras they had, whatever. So it was like our biggest secretist ship, before the stealth bombers and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing this and just finish the rest of the story. But anyway, so the SR-71, back when it was being developed, they had to do, it was a high altitude plane, so they would fly it really close to the limits of the atmosphere. And kind of the way the atmosphere works is when you can skip out of it, right? So, and because those planes could go so fast, this guy who was in the Marines, he told me that what they didn't tell people is during early testing of these planes, three of them skipped out of the atmosphere and are floating in space. So that's with people in them. So you have, he said three, um, but that's not something that they told anybody. So I was like, so people just thought I guess whoever the test pilots were crashed and died or whatever during testing. They didn't tell them it skipped out of the atmosphere and is in space because that was a type of technology we didn't want people to know we could fly that high or something. And obviously that would be embarrassing. It's like, oh, we got pilots that died in space in the cockpits of SR-71s. Anyways, I don't know if that story was true. The guy was a Marine. He told it to me. Seemed like it was something that was certainly plausible.
Yeah.
Um, but I was never able to verify it, obviously. So I don't know. Just an interesting story I collected through my days. But that's all my appetizers I had. So,
Wow.
feel free to start your main course, or I don't know what you think about airplanes and stuff like that. But
No, that's I did not know about that, and I guess I'm assuming if those events did happen, like those aircraft, they probably just burned back in the atmosphere,
no,
or
I think they're just out. Like, remember Elon kind of just like launched a car out in space,
yeah, yeah,
kind of like that. They're just floating out there, or I don't know which trajectory their orbit took them, but
right.
they're just considered space junk probably out there, and
Oh my
hush hush,
god.
and not too much info on it. So a little breaking news. I don't know if it's true, but just a story I thought was interesting.
So we got a floating Elon Musk car, probably a cat or a dog or two, some mice from the cosmonauts, and then a few Marines, I guess. Hopefully
Yeah,
not, but
yeah, or
uh,
test pilots. And Billy
that's
Rocket,
fine.
he's still up there.
Yeah,
Billy
Billy Rock.
Rocket, the Cologne, the space cowboy. He's on the Cologne. So
Well, thank you, Josh. That was really interesting. Well, I
yeah,
think it's a good kind of segue into kind of the more surprising, mysterious things that different astronauts have experienced in space. And so let's go right into it. Um, Basically, I wanted to talk about first a Huffington Post story that reported on this. So we have astronaut from he was from the NASA program. Um, uh, Astronaut Leroy Chiao. I looked up his pronunciation, so I'm pretty sure I got it.
nailed it.
Um, Nailed it. And so I can give you a picture of him real quick.
Okay.
Share screen. Uh, Share.
All
Oh,
right.
where'd he go? There we go.
Oh,
Zoom in on a bit. Um,
okay.
but yeah, I think he was with the space shuttle program. I think. Don't verify, or please verify if I'm wrong on that. But basically, back in 2025, Chiao, he was commander of the International Space Station for 6.5 months. And during a spacewalk, and he was with a cosmonaut, Slizan Sherpov. Did you like that Russian
Nailed
accent
it.
there?
Nailed
Nailed
it.
it. They were installing navigational antennas, and they were about a little over 200 miles above the Earth, traveling at over 17,000 miles per hour. And something caught Chiao's eye, and to quote him, he said, "I saw some lights that seemed to be in a line, and it was almost like an upside down check mark. And I saw them fly by, and I thought it was awfully strange." Um, but his fellow spacewalker, Sharapov, she did not see any lights. Excuse me, he did not see any lights because he was facing the opposite direction. And we got kind of a little visual right here, a little artistic visual from the Science Channel. But this is what Chiao said he saw, some sort of, it's almost like upside down check mark, I guess.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, I see.
but it kind of
This is
goes
in
along.
2005, you said?
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, 2005.
Okay.
And these type of string of lights, these UFOs, if you will, there's all sorts of different type of UFOs that people have seen that had certain designs, flying in a certain formation. um, I've seen a couple things. I haven't seen anything like this. Josh, have you seen anything in your life were UFO
I
related?
I've seen upside down check marks. I haven't seen anything like that though. No. I have seen like a shooting stars, I guess, which could have
Mhm.
been something, but yeah, nothing like that. That's crazy. What
Yeah,
is that? So he was doing a spacewalk, and these lights just kind of appeared, or what happened? They just
I
flew
think
by.
I believe they flew by.
Okay,
And there was basically a down to earth explanation was offered. It was maybe
swamp gas.
swamp gas, yeah,
All right.
or fishing boats that he saw
Huh.
hundreds of miles below him. But I feel like those would be gigantic fishing boats inland. Um, but
Okay, so their explanation was he was doing a spacewalk, and this astronaut, he's such an idiot. He can't differentiate between lights, tiny lights on the ocean versus something flying through space in front of him.
hey, all the controllers, all of NASA management, whatever you want to say, they're much smarter than these astronauts. So
Yeah.
they know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe it was an SR-71 and they left its lights on. It was floating by.
yeah, perhaps. Um, He said after this in a Post interview a while back, I think it might have been with the Huffington Post. He said, "I'm skeptical of claims that we've been visited by aliens from another planet or dimension, but I don't rule it out 100%. I have an open mind, and I do believe there is other life in our universe. And if there is life out there that is so much more advanced than we are, and they know how to travel great distances in short amounts of time, or they're able to come from a parallel universe in ours, he's asking like, why don't they just come and show us? And that's kind of the big mystery.
Can you
Um,
zoom in on that picture more?
yeah, yeah, kind of see a little more.
Okay, and this is just from obviously not the actual spaceship
No,
photos.
no,
It's
this is like an artist rendering.
okay. So
Um,
they're green. They were green lights too, is what he saw. Did he mention the light color?
I think he just mentioned it, it just had that type of shape. Um, and that's interesting. I feel like these type of shapes, maybe not a question mark. I feel like there have been lots of different reports of these type of things, especially like the Tic Tac one in like
Mm-hmm.
formation. I'll be honest, that's I saw something similar to that
The Tic
when I
Tac.
was a kid. Yeah, and it was just kind of like this orangish Tic Tac, very high up in the sky. And I was playing baseball at baseball practice, so it was a clear day. I saw it pretty well.
How old were you?
Um, I would say, 13, 14. I remember
Okay.
pretty well because I'll be honest, at that time, like I was really into sci-fi movies. I was really interested in that stuff. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to probably it was scary as shit to see some of those things. So I was kind of always looking around. And I saw something that was weird. I couldn't explain, and it did do like a that recent Navy footage of a craft just jumping to insane speeds. It did that, like it was floating and it was gone. So
And it is
that's a
orange. Orange light.
it was orangey. I mean, it was kind of getting
That is the
dusty.
best Tic Tac.
The orange one, the orange
Yeah,
flavor.
orange is the
Yeah,
best Tic Tac.
I would agree
I
with
will
that.
fight you on this.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's
Well,
his
that's
story.
interesting.
And
Huh.
so that's one thing. Here's like another version, just kind of what he was like doing. So you got to get perspective. So you could see a
Okay.
lot of things out there. It
So
still
he's
amazes
not looking
me.
down at the Earth to see it, though, right? So he's kind of looking out into space, or what was his
I,
orientation? Did you mention?
it didn't mention the orientation, but I could see it. He's probably looking around here.
Hmm.
He's probably not a direct view of Earth, but seeing
Okay.
around in space. I don't think he was looking directly out. So.
So yeah, not like he was looking into the ocean, zooming
Mm.
in with his special, I don't know, NASA visor that you could. Oh, look! I accidentally zoomed in on this fishing ships, and here
Hmm.
they are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, that's for astronaut Chiao. Um, and then
Hmm.
the next thing I kind of want to go into is a weird thing. It's similar to what you talked about earlier, like space smells, but there was also
Hmm.
reported space music.
Space
Um,
music. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So let's see here. Let me pull it up. Um, According to transcripts, Apollo 10 astronauts, and I'm trying to see when this occurred. It was May 1969. So a little while back, Apollo 10, they staged a dress rehearsal for the first human to walk on the lunar surface.
Hmm.
And as they were orbiting the moon for about 10 hours, they started hearing some weird things. And we can go into what it sounded like and what the astronauts were saying.
Okay. We gotta.
Can you hear that?
No, I think you have to share it. You have to share it.
Oh, beepity bop boop boop. Presents. Share screen. Here we go.
Okay. Let's see.
Let me know if you can hear.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, bro. Now, first visual of and it music even sounds outer spacey, doesn't it? You hear that? That whistling sound? Yeah. Woo! Richard. Yeah, it sounds like outer space type music. Hey Tom, is your insulation all burned off here?
Okay, so that's basically it for there.
So that like humming thing, is that what they heard? Like I didn't hear any like
That's
musical
what's
sound thing.
that's what's kind of hard about this is like I think that's the sound of the machinery. What they were
Ah.
hearing was kind of on their headsets and all that. So we can't really hear the
Hmm.
music, but they had the full audio of the astronauts talking about it. And what basically NASA at that time they said it was probably interference. So Um,
Swamp gas.
but still, like interesting. Like these astronauts are experiencing something that you know they can only reiterate and talk about, like whether it be smells or they're hearing strange music. So they're experiencing some weird stuff that it's kind of hard to bring back, but
Hmm.
there are all sorts of different transcripts and audio about it.
I would assume they would know too, because astronauts they go through so many tests and things like that. Like they're training for different scenarios, so they would know if like, oh, this is just interference in my headphones
Mhm.
because we went through that scenario in training, and but this is not that. It sounds more like I guess they said like space music, like a theremin or something. Is that what it's called? That instrument, you know what I'm talking about?
No, no. What's that?
Um, well, let me just look it up real quick. Hold on.
Power of
There.
Google.
Yeah, let's see. Let me get to a. You can keep talking as I am very
Okay.
professional looking this up.
Yeah, that's fine. Um, and the next, what I kind of want to go into is another mystery that a lot of people are interested in. Music talks about it. It's in books, but it's the mystery of the dark side of the moon. Um, and so,
That's a great Pink Floyd
yes,
album.
what I was saying, like really important to music as well.
Oh,
What?
here we go. I found it. Sorry.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Let me share this with the people. The people. Let's see. All right, you see that?
Yeah,
You've probably heard this in like musical things. They've used it sometimes. I think the Beach Boys have used it in songs that they've made, but it's that instrument that you just wave your hands in between the two like receptor things and it makes different sounds.
I've heard it, but I didn't know how it's operated. That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I think it was it's like the ions or something. Yeah, I don't know how it I'm not the technical musician guy, but I think it was like something like the little molecules in there vibrate at a certain when you put your hand, it disrupts it, and then it sends like feedback, and then like makes it like sound like space music. That's what I think of when you said space music,
Mhm.
the theremin, and I think it was invented by like a Russian guy back in the day, and it was like he went on tours with it, and I wasn't
Interesting.
expecting to dive into the theremin on this episode, but
No.
that's what people think of a lot of times because it's used in like old sci-fi music, movies that like
Mhm.
kind of thing. And so that's I think maybe that's what the astronauts were hearing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, at least we got some sort of space music because
There you go.
uh, my presentation did not provide any besides some astronauts talk. But that's okay. Um,
Well, that's still cool. I mean, they're describing the scenario as it happens, and
yeah.
that's always hard to get footage from NASA for that kind of stuff because they're
Mhm.
very like, no, nothing weird is here.
Right. Yeah, that's BS. So, and speaking of weird things, just going back to the dark side of the moon,
Hmm.
what many of you probably aren't aware is that there are two sides of the moon, and the tidal forces between the Earth and Moon have slowed down the latter's rotation in such a way that the same side of the moon is always facing kind of away from the Earth. So we're not exactly seeing the full moon rotate. And it's based on the speed of the rotation of the moon compared to ours. So we're always seeing like, I guess basically the man in the moon. But there's this one side of the moon that we can't really see. It's just this weird natural just occurrence that has happened since the formation of the moon and the earth and based on their gravitational pull.
If you
And
believe in the formation of the moon and Earth theory, sure.
what is this type of theory?
What's
Is
the
this a is
well,
this a
the theory
rabbit
that
hole?
spaceship it's a spaceship moon. The moon's really a
Oh,
artificial spaceship. That might be
okay.
an episode later, but
Yeah.
that's an interesting theory out there.
Well, this is kind of related. So people are always wondering what is on this dark side of the moon. Could it be a spaceship? Could it be hosting like a space base?
Mm,
So that's what people are interested. Um, and so, and there are stories like this one that kind of bring out like the curiosity of like what is there. So basically, there was on July 21st in 1969. So we're just hovering around the 60s here. We're seeing all sorts of weird stuff because we're exploring the space for the first time. But we had for Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong and Aldrin. There's this transcript of them, and this is, I think, I'm not sure if this is when they were going to be landing on the moon. It might be because Neil Armstrong and Aldrin are together, but
Hmm.
they're orbiting at this time at least. And according to the transcript, you hear um, Armstrong and Aldrin together. What was it? What the hell was it? That's all I want to know. These babies were huge, sir. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. NASA, what's the hell? What the hell is going on? Apollo 11, they're here under the surface. NASA, what's there? Mission Control calling Apollo 11. Apollo 11, Roger, we're here, all three of us, but excuse me, yeah, this is Apollo 11. Roger, we're all here, all three of us, but we found some visitors. They've been here for quite a while, judging by the installations. I'm telling you, there are other spacecrafts out here. They're lined up in ranks on the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us. Um, so yeah, that's pretty
When
startling.
what was that from? You said that was the
It was the Apollo 11 mission.
okay, and that was from the recordings from NASA, or what was that transcript?
Recordings, transcripts. Um,
Okay,
so
and then what happened? They just like went dark or something.
it looks like they went dark. They just, I think, with all these different type of missions, they have to report everything, and they probably just went on with their mission. That's what I'm
And that was
taking
in
from this.
what year was that? You said.
1969 in the summer, July 21st.
Strange.
So I think these were, for a while, those transcripts were not released to the public, and I think after a time they were released.
I wonder
So
maybe if they saw the SR-71s. Maybe
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 they
that's
did.
where they skipped out and kind of went around the backside of the moon, and maybe they landed there. They crashed.
It's possible those would look definitely futuristic.
Yeah.
But is there anything that interests you about the dark side of the moon, or have you explored any of that?
I've you heard the weird conspiracy theories and stuff like that about the dark side of the moon, and it would make sense. Like to me, with the moon is like it's so weird to me that we haven't really been back there since what, like the early '70s, I think was like,
Yeah,
or somewhere in the '70s was the
that sounds
last.
about right.
It's like why haven't we been back there? And like a lot of people are like, oh well, the aliens, they're over there on the dark side of the moon, and they don't want us poking around over there, so they
Uh,
basically forced us. Yeah, yeah, Steve,
Yeah,
Space Steve. Is that
Space Steve. There are a bunch of Space Steves out there. They don't.
Space Steve? Yeah,
Yeah,
Star Childs or stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's always weird. Like why we haven't really done that. Like you think now, I mean, in 2020s, we'd be like, hey, let's go send a rover on the dark side of the moon and see what it's about. I know, like they're like, oh, we can't really because it's on the backside and our satellites are here, so we can't really see and communicate. But I'm pretty sure they could pop something over there to relay it and or whatever. I mean, we could figure stuff out. It's like, why aren't they showing us that side of the moon? What's over there? I want to
mhm.
see more stuff, but they don't really show us much of what's on the moon, anyways. It's
Yeah,
very
especially with the space race, how Russia and the U.S. were so eager to get up there and explore, and then all of a sudden that eagerness just dropped. Like, was
yeah,
there something they encountered? Whatever they encountered, would they like stop? Do not come back here? All sorts of questions.
yeah. And then I know we're supposed to go back to the moon, are we? Like in a couple
Yeah.
years, they're planning to send a line or a manned mission there. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll get around to the dark, but I have a feeling they're just gonna like kind of touch down where they already touched down and just like, oh, we did it again. Okay, bye.
Right. Right.
So would you
Yeah.
want to go on the moon, Zane? Like, if you had the chance to be an astronaut and land on the moon, is that something that would interest you?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of related to this other question. Would I want to go to the bottom of the ocean or go into
No.
space? I think I would rather go into space. So I guess that's the answer is yes. I would rather go on the moon because I feel
Mm,
like just I know the pressure environment of space is extreme too, but going down in the bottom of the ocean just sounds even scarier for whatever reason. At least you get a nice view of the globe when you're up in
Yeah.
space, and it's pretty. You can't see anything down there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I
what's
would.
yeah, the visibility under the ocean when you're down that deep is like only a few feet at a time, right? So,
Yeah. But
and
yeah,
what's that giant giant eyeball that just floated by me? I don't know. Although maybe you have that in space too. You're on the dark side of the moon and you see a giant creature go by. Space creatures. Eh.
yeah. Maybe that's what Armstrong saw. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
but and then lastly, speaking of large creatures, wanted to go into this other topic that the Russian side of things that they experience in space.
Okay.
So let me share. Du-du-du. Photos. Boom.
All right. Let's
You got it.
see. Yeah, there we go.
Now
Let's
we
make
got
that.
angels in space. So this is
Hmm.
getting into the more spiritual. You can
Space
name it.
angels.
Space angels. So
That looks like a legit photo.
yeah. Um. So basically, in July 1984, we had Russian cosmonauts board their space station, the Salyut 7, were on day 155 of their mission. So that's a long time. And it was that day that they started seeing strange lights and, according to them, beings.
Well, you said
According to
day 155 of their mission?
155. So they're up there.
Oh
So
man.
that brings
Yeah.
up the possibility, like, what's going on mentally with them.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Um, According to Commander Oleg Aktov and his other cosmonauts, I'm not going to go in their names.
Sure. Yeah.
The
People.
space station was completely bathed in a mesmerizing orange light. It appeared to enter from outside the space station and it kind of bled through, just kind of through the whole craft. And for a short period of time, the orange light was so bright that it blinded the crew. They had a hard time seeing. Um, but when their vision kind of adjusted, they're able to look outside the portholes, and they saw something that was pretty extraordinary. They described them as beings that were angelic in appearance, um, and they were humanoid. They had faces and bodies that looked human, but they had wings and halos, just like your general um, idea of what angels look like. And they kind of kept pace with the space station for 10 minutes while it was orbiting before vanishing. And I got another one here. It's kind
Okay.
of hard to see, but this kind
Now
of
what
looks more
is
spacey, I
this
would say.
is this an artist's interpretation of it, or was there like some like fuzzy photos that are
I
claiming to
think
be
it's all artist renderings,
okay?
but
As
it
an
gives you
artist, I could see that.
it gives you an idea. Um, I can share this other screen and you can kind of see it because they
Okay.
said that these angelic beings were the size of airliners. So let me share this other
Hmm.
picture. Um, and yeah, they just it's ready for you. So you kind of see
Okay.
here. This is definitely artist rendering, but they
Sure.
describe these beings, creatures, lights, as the size of their spaceship or even bigger. So oh, I hope I didn't leave. I almost left
Nope,
the
you're still
studio.
there.
Okay,
Oh
good.
no.
I almost pressed the wrong button. Um,
You know what's weird is that you could so they're saying these angel beings are the size of space or not space airliners you said.
yeah.
So let me hold on. Let me bring up a picture for you real quick. Give me 1 second. Do. Would you say share my screen StreamYard we're using
Hey, we'll plug StreamYard
Okay,
if you can give us a
yeah,
free membership and all that.
yeah. All right. See that SR-71 again?
Yeah, yeah,
Would you say that kind of maybe could look like an angel in wings, and it's the size of a airliner?
yeah. I can see what you're talking about. So it
Hmm. And they saw faces, right? And maybe they saw the
they said it was
astronaut.
humanoid, like calm looking faces that just kind of followed them, and that was just their whole
Hmm.
experience. Basically, this was kept top secret by the old Soviet Union until it was kind of re- revealed down the road. But it's just kind of odd. We're not just seeing like the typical UFO. That was a cool picture right there. That was a really futuristic looking
Yeah,
craft there.
it's a weird aircraft. It has angles and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
maybe I don't know. Maybe that's a new theory I just invented. Maybe it's couple.
Right.
Maybe they saw the SR-71s that were in space and they had like weird glows off of them or something because they're made out of
Highly possible.
titanium. I
Mhm.
don't know. Just a theory. I don't know. Just throwing
Sure.
it out there.
But also goes that sounds like a good scientific, realistic theory. But then it
Yeah.
goes, I mean, this these so many different topics that we go into, but there's this whole idea that there's a wider range of type of UFOs or alien beings, and one of them is angels. Besides, like your little grays with the big black eyes.
Hmm.
So this one kind of interested me. Like I come from a Catholic religious background, and seeing huge angels in space, very interesting, very weird, but
That would
different
be.
from.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. It's different from the usual UFO
Yeah.
story that we've heard about for over 70-ish years, almost 100 years. Actually, I'm sorry,
What
thousands of years.
Yeah. What would be more terrifying? Like if you're up in space, seeing a giant space angel being or like a UFO alien thing with the typical depiction of aliens.
To me, I just like I said, since I've come from a religious background, I would be scared, but I would be more comforted if I saw like a thing I recognize, like angels. It would still be really scary because I'm like, holy crap, they exist. But
Hmm.
UFOs, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, like the little grays, like they really bugged me. I did not like. They really freaked me out. So
Oh
like
yeah.
if I saw a UFO and I'm thinking, oh, those little shits are on there, then like I don't know if I would be nervous. Um, yeah,
I think the giant celestial being space angel creature things would be more terrifying to me. Because it's like the frame of reference you have for something like I guess a light being that's the
mhm,
size of a jumbo jet is not something a lot of people have. Like, we've been inundated with alien stuff for ever. So you're kind of used to like, oh, gray aliens with the big eyes. They're
and
freaky and
it,
stuff. But
at least they're in like craft that we can kind of understand. It's like a
yeah,
metallic craft that's similar to our flying craft, but
sure,
like
yeah,
seeing some like possible godlike being that's gigantic. I understand what you're saying.
yeah. So in that story with the Russians, then what happened after they saw him? Was there did they something
From
prophetic happen or they
I
just
I think it was just that was reported. They had transcripts and all that. I don't have any right here, uh, but it was kept top secret for a bit, and it just kind of got leaked out eventually. Just kind of like with all these other UFO stories,
hmm.
nothing has happened of it. It's gone into the Men in Black files or something like that.
Okay. So,
So
on a scale of 1 to 10, of that being possibly true or just like misinformation, what would you categorize that story as?
this is definitely the least plausible story that we've heard so far.
Hmm.
Um, I maybe a 4 out of a 10. I would give it.
4 out of 10. Okay,
Yeah,
for it being plausible happen.
yeah.
I guess that makes sense. I'd like it to happen. If we had more evidence of it, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not gonna say it's not possible. I mean, you see some crazy stuff, right?
Right. It seems like crazier things are happening every day, but um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, are we going to have that event where all of this is revealed to us? Like everyone knows like it's become more culture and it's in headlines every day about UFOs and our government, international governments are talking about it more. So are they leading up to something? That's the big question.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they'll let you know when they want to let you know.
Oh
Unless you
yeah,
take a picture of it yourself, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, that's all I have. I think
Okay. Well,
that was a lot of space nuggets we threw at everyone.
there's a lot of space nuggets, and there's
Space
always
chips.
space chips. Yes, with
Yeah,
space salsa, that'd be good.
yeah.
Well, speaking of space chips and space salsa, I did have this little thing I made that kind of goes with the episode. I thought it would have been fun to make. I made a song based on our episode today. So let me share this with the space dog. All right, let's see.
You turn it up a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You don't hear it?
it sounds like I hear it on your end.
Oh, let me. Well, that kind of loses its effect then. Hold on.
I want to hear what
Why?
galactic giggles are. Come on, Josh.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying here. Why won't it share in the thing? You should be able to hear it. Oh, let me try it again. You tell me if you hear it. You hear it?
Nope.
What?
I hear your dogs. That's all I hear.
Well, that's it. That's it. That's the surprise. My space dogs are actually descendants of the Russian dog that went up into
Oh,
space. Well, why isn't this play? Oh, I know. Let me load it into the StreamYard instead. Let me try it that way. Maybe that's a thing. Da-da-da-da-da.
no,
Okay,
hope it didn't
and
freeze.
did it freeze?
It looks like it froze to me, but no, frozen in
Oh,
space.
let me hold on. Like I said, we're professionals here,
Yeah,
so don't try this at home. We're
that's
in
kind
our
of a question. Like, if let's say I'm an astronaut floating in space and I have to take off my helmet,
uh-huh.
for whatever, or my suit depressurizes. Do you freeze or do you like boil? Like, does it depend? Like,
I've heard it both ways. Um, yeah, I've heard it both ways. I don't know. Because it's like it's a kind of a near vacuum, right? So think it depends on where you are in direction to the sun, right? So because
sure.
you're there and hot. But okay, let me try this again. I got the song here in the streamer. Let me play it. You tell me if you hear it.
In the depths of the sky, a
Hear
weird
it.
new universe so vast. I'm floating like a feather, lost and moving so fast. I see space angels prancing with halos all aglow, boogieing with aliens, putting on a show. Spaceships do-si-do, planets swirling like atop the Milky Way's a circus. Neon colors never stop. I'm laughing in zero gravity. My belly full of glee. Strange creatures touching fingers, or tentacles so free.
Yeah,
There's a
Steve.
space dog in a spacesuit barking at the moon.
I don't think we went over the dogs much.
Just a little bit.
Thank you, Zane, for the giggles in the night. Your cosmic jokes and puns, man, they hit me just right.
So that was like a little song there. There's more to it, but you get the idea with
Did
that.
you produce that?
I used AI
Okay,
to make it. I made
that's
another
cool.
one here. Let me do another one here
I like
for you.
that. That was good. That was
Yeah.
really good. I was wondering, like, it sounded like you to do that. I was like, did you do AI? Like, that makes sense. That was
Yeah,
good. That was
I'm a
good.
very talented musician. I made it not knowing what your episode was about and what you talked about. It just
So
made it on the fly.
as we were talking about this, you
No,
plugged
no, I
everything in.
made it.
Oh,
I made it before. I kind of had a gist of what you were talking about, but then I did. You know what? That was pretty good. But maybe a folk song that gives a little bit more details about what we did in the show today. I don't know. Let's see.
In the darkest of the night, when the moon is high, people
Irish folk.
gaze at the stars, reaching for the sky. They see weird things up there from their earthly ground, but not all tales are true. Let me tell you what I found.
I'll do
Zane
interpretive
had a
dance.
story about a UFO in the night. Said he saw it flash, shining oh so
Thank you,
bright.
Napoleon. That was good.
Oh, Josh, he didn't do too much, just nodded along with a
That's not true.
skeptical touch.
Skeptical, yes.
Oh, the
So how was that song?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little program. It's pretty good. You know, I was like,
What's
oh,
it called?
AI. Suno AI is what I used. They're pretty
Okay.
good. I recommend maybe checking them out. And it was like free. So like for free, wow, that's pretty good. And before the haters come out because they're like, oh, AI, you're taking away AI music from real artists. Like I respect real artists. You know, I do art myself. And our theme
A
song is
talented artist.
actually, thank you. Our I did was it the Tomb Raider back here? I don't know if you can see her, but
Yeah.
our intro is actually done by an actual artist. ChillKid is their name, so check them out on Bandcamp and stuff like that. We'll put links in the notes here. You can get check out some more of their music, but they're a real artist, so we support real artists too, not just AI stealing from people. So whatever. But at this time of the show, Zane, since it's our first episode, maybe it was we check our listener mail, but we don't have any listener mail. It's our first one. But wait, we do have some listener mail.
It's from the future.
It's from the future. I don't know if you could see this.
No, not really. It's quite blurry.
Oh, okay. It's very blurry, but it's wow, future post stamps look a lot like stickers just written on. Anyways, this is from
Wow.
Timmy from Ohio in the future. They wrote in about our show, so we got it via
Timmy.
Timmy says, that's amazing what they can do in the future. They can send you letters in the past. It's great. Timmy says, Dear Telltale guys, my name is Little Timmy, and I live in Ohio in the future. I have a rare... What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, so... and I have a rare disease called bonitis. After listening to your first few episodes, my bonitis got worse. Well, that's kind of the breaks with listening to the first few episodes here. But then after plowing through, my bonitis got better. And now I'm bonitis free thanks to your show. My favorite episode so far is episode 77. Wow, what a topic. Anyway, I have to go clean my room now. Bye. P.S. What was your favorite cartoon growing up? Mine was Brave Star. Cartoons from the 80s and 90s are big in the future. Keep up the good work.
Hey, everything retro, yeah.
Yeah, wow, Timmy, thank you.
Thank you,
I
Timmy.
hope your bonitis doesn't flare up again. That'd be horrible in the future.
I agree, and I hope and I'm very excited we made it to 77. That's great.
Yeah, at least so far they said so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I look forward to 77. That's gonna be a great episode. But what is answer Timmy's question? Your favorite cartoon growing up?
Coming like just straight to my head when I think of just as a kid, probably Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo, not the Scrappy one. Scrappy 2.
No, I mean those are good. I mean, there's not even like a generic, not a specific episode or a specific season, but just like I remember that would be the show that would make me excited. Even though you got the great ones like Spider-Man and X-Men and all of that, but like
X-Men.
I just remember that specifically one, like it popped out anyway, so that kind of defined my childhood.
Can't go wrong with Scooby Doo. I say mine was probably X-Men. I was big into that. Wolverine, totally awesome. Wish I was Claude, but maybe in the future, maybe Timmy in the future, they have like procedures where you can get like claws like Wolverine. That'd be cool.
Well, with the development of AI, they'll probably be able to do a lot of things physically and mentally to you. But that can be, I'm sure that's a future episode for sure. AI is crazy. and it makes
Hmm.
some damn good nugget music that we just played.
Yeah, and I made a bunch more. I'll share those with you later. Uh, but I don't know. Maybe we'll compile all these AI musics if we do more of them and like sell them for people in the future. Timmy in the future, he can
Jimmy.
have our album of show themed musics.
Mhm.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this episode. Zane, did you have anything else you wanted to add or bring up for space or thoughts?
No, well, I mean, I'm excited where we are going with space. There are some uh, leading companies and people who are trying to push us there to Mars. I think, especially, and hopefully, we get some sort of launch pad on the moon that can make it easier to go. I've always said to myself, obviously, we missed a landing on the moon. We're too young, but I would love in my lifetime to see us land at least back on the moon, but also land on Mars. I think that'd be really cool. And I'm hopeful for that. And if we see some weird things while we're doing it, then I'm okay with that as long as it's not bringing down the destruction of humanity.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess if as long as you have that caveat, it's fine.
Yeah.
You are looking a little pixelated though, kind of like an alien right now, so that's
Oh,
fun.
that's not good. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're done anyways. All right.
Okay.
So I guess we'll see you next time with a new episode, and hopefully we'll have some real listener mail, or if you got tales of your own that you thought might make a good episode, or a personal story you'd like to share, go ahead and send it in to us. We'd love to hear that. We're going to be on telltaleguys.com, and you can email us at heyguys@telltaleguys.com. Get the podcast anywhere fine podcasts are found, and
be on Instagram,
YouTube.
YouTube, Facebook, Telltale Guys. Next time I will make sure I share the exact spelling of it, but I'm pretty sure it's all Telltale Guys. So
Yeah. All right. Cue outro music.
Thanks, Timmy.
Bye.
Floating like a feather, lost and moving so fast. I see space angels dancing with halos all aglow. That boogieing with aliens putting on a show. Spaceships do-si-do, planets swirling like a top of Milky Ways. A circus, neon colors never stop. Laughing in zero gravity, a belly full of bees. Strange creatures touching fingers with tentacles so free. There's a space dog in a spacesuit barking at the moon, zigzagging round the comet.